Let me explain to you guys what the MT09 SP does better than 99% of other street bikes. The MT09 SP and its designers really understood the market of naked bike buyers. The vast majority of people, they say they want track performance. They say they want bleeding edge, right? But in fact, 97 to 99% of riders might do like 1 to 0 track days a year, right? The vast majority of the time, you're riding your motorcycle on the street. And so why would you design a motorcycle that's sort of like racetrack first and then street bike? And that's what the MT09 SP does, man. It is so good as a street bike. It is so good. It's got ample torque, beautiful electronics, nice fueling, a nice master cylinder feel. I want for virtually nothing when I ride this motorcycle. I really do think it's one of the absolute best in the biz. And I know that when you take it on track, it is so much fun to ride. I know that because I got the chance to ride one at a Yamaha Champ School on track. And the thing just shreds, you know? And somehow pulling off like a comfortable, everyday, livable motorcycle that can still carve it up on track reasonably well. It's not a 600cc super sport. It never will be. That makes this motorcycle just completely unique in this category, in my opinion. The fact that you got cruise control is standard. You can just get on this motorcycle, commute with it like it's a normal, everyday bike. It's got plenty of power and poke, a characterful engine. There's really nothing quite like it in the category, you know? And when you build a motorcycle that is going to be, you know, utilized as a street bike on the vast majority of occasions, you have to build it very differently, right? So Yamaha has this no-weld frame that's on this motorcycle. And it's pretty beefy. You know, you look at it, it's got quite the beefy quality to it like you would see on an aluminum twin spar frame on a sport bike, a proper sport bike. But it somehow, you know, feels really, really nice to ride on the street. It doesn't feel overly rigid. It doesn't feel overly punishing to ride. I've got this one dialed in. This one has this MT09 SP has an Olin shock out back, KYB suspension up front, and I've got it dialed in a pretty sporty way. I got the preload sag set up correctly, dialed it in pretty sporty so that the suspension is a little bit more tight, a little bit more, you know, stiff, because that's how I like to ride. But honestly, you could dial this in a comfort setting and cruise around this bike all day long. You know, you look at a bike like the Street Triple 765, and that's, I would say, this bike's main competitor, price for price, cylinder for cylinder, pound for pound, right? It's a pretty darn close competitor. And I really think that for the actual use case of people buying, the MT09 SP makes way more sense. Way more sense. It's got way more torque. It's got usable torque. And it's just so comfortable to sit on, man. Like, this bike, it's still not quite as crazy as the old school FZ09, you know, that had that crazy, almost super motard-esque seating position. This motorcycle actually has a somewhat normal ergonomics package. But I really think this third generation, before they changed it up, is really dialed in such a beautiful way, man. I know that the fourth generation, because everybody lets me know about it in the comments section, oh yeah, it's got a bigger screen and it's more aggressive and it's better in every single which way. I don't think so. I really don't. I think that this bike fits the mark so well, and I know a lot of people who have ridden 3rd gen and 4th gen MT09s and will agree with me that this is the one to get. This 3rd gen is the one to get. And I think if you get a base MT09, you don't even get an SP, wow, what a bargain too. So on top of that, I think this bike knocks it out of the park in terms of the price point. I mean, this thing in base configuration costs what a you know, new Triumph Daytona 660 costs. It costs what a GSX-8R costs. And it's got way more motor, way more pizzazz, way more frame, way more handling. Like, everything is dialed up on this thing. And I frankly don't know how Yamaha has exceeded on this price point for this bike, but it really is just that good. And I've ridden a lot of motorcycles, guys, a lot of bikes. And I really think this MT09 SP is just a cut above everything else. You can absolutely go take this thing out for a long cruise, and it's so enjoyable. It's not punishing at all, you know? I don't feel like I want to jump off of this thing. Like right now, I'm cruising on this beautiful, wide, sweepy hill country road, and I want to be here, you know? I want to be here on this bike, and I want to enjoy it, and it's got this awesome dual nature to it, such that you can sit up, and the motorcycle behaves like a freaking, you know, scrambler, like a cruiser. Like, it's so chill to ride this bike, right? And that is so unique in this category, that a motorcycle can be so relaxing and calm and yet have this much performance on tap. It has so much performance on tap. It's absolutely crazy. You can use this bike and keep up with virtually anybody on any twisty road, anytime, anywhere. The only place you would struggle to keep up is if you're highway roll racing with your buddies. Obviously, this thing is not a top speed monster. I think the most you could get out of this bike is like a 145 or a 150 mile per hour. And you don't really want to go that much faster because you're completely exposed to the elements and quite upright in the wind. This is not a bike that you would want to go out and do top speed runs with, but it'll definitely scooch to 120, 130, no problem at all. It's more than happy doing those sorts of speeds. You know, you don't want to sustain those speeds. I feel like sort of 75 to 90 is this bike's happy spot in terms of highway cruising, but it has ample power to go beyond that level, which is really nice. So that's really what I think this bike has over the competition, right? This dual nature to it, this Jekyll and Hyde quality, this ability to be an awesome street bike, a genuinely awesome street bike that's comfortable, usable, friendly, fun. Like, if you're an experienced motorcyclist, this is it. Why would you get anything else? Like, this to me is the best bike in the category, bar none. Bar none. And it's a freaking Yamaha. You got to do the valves every 26,000 miles. It will run forever. I've seen FZ09s with 60,000 miles on the clock, and they do not care. Yamaha built these MT bikes so well. The motors are so good, and they will last forever. They will last forever, baby. You don't have to worry about this at all.
Time is running out to win the MT09 SP giveaway bike we have on yammynoob.co. September 13th is the very last day you have to get entered, so don't miss your chance to win. I highly recommend you become a member so you get access to all the benefits of our membership program, and you'll also get the ability to stack up your entries and apply them to our giveaway bikes. If you become a member now, you can get entered for the MT09 SP giveaway and then our next giveaway bike starting just a few days later. And trust me, it's a brand new bike that you're not going to want to miss because so many of you have been mentioning it in the comments. So go and check out the Yamaha MT09 SP giveaway on yammynoob.co and don't miss your chance to get entered to win. September 13th is the very last day to get entered.
You know, you consider Duke 990, Street Triple, they're all, in my opinion, they're too aggressive. The naked bike category has become really aggressive because super sports don't sell anymore, and so manufacturers keep trying to make these bikes more and more aggressive, more and more capable, but I think it's to the point now where they're too aggressive. You know, I find the Street Triple a little too committed. I haven't ridden the Duke 990 yet, but it's lauded as the most aggressive bike in the category. I know people have a ton of fun with it, but to me, this character-rich 3-cylinder on the MT09 SP really is the ticket. And this bike's lightweight too, you know, it weighs a little over 400 pounds. It's easy to operate, you know, very simple. And so, I don't know. I'm just like, why would you get anything else? You know what I mean? Feels like, you guys probably think I'm the biggest Yamaha simp in the world, but I really do think that this bike just does everything better than any other bike on the market right now. You know, you go for the upper echelon category, the Street Fighter V4S, and if you want to go up in that kind of ranking, those bikes are a lot, you know, they're a lot of power, they're a lot of, you know, they're a big handful. Somehow this bike still feels like I can utilize the performance of it. That's down to my opinion, down to the way it's geared and the way the power comes on. You know, between 4,000 and 9,000 RPM, I feel like I have all the power on tap and I'm really using the thing. I'm not waiting for power to build. It feels super linear, super progressive, and I get to use the gearbox. So to me, if I'm revving it out and I'm clicking through the gears, psychologically I think, yeah, I'm really getting to use this thing, you know? versus, you know, Street Fighter V4S. Not even close to being in the same category as this bike, but as an example, you know, revs to 16,000 RPM or whatever, 15,000 RPM. And you got to really be on your A game when you're on that thing. And it's so aggressive and so insane, such that the MT09 SP doesn't have that. You know, you can cruise on this bike, have some fun with it, and then when you want, dial it up and shred the twisties. And like I said, if you know what you're doing, nobody's going to keep up. Or you can keep up with anybody. This bike's wickedly capable. That's the other thing about this bike too, that, and maybe this is just me getting older and I don't want to modify bikes as much, but I think it sounds awesome from the factory. I wouldn't even get an exhaust for this thing. I would literally just run it exactly as is. I hate the way the stock exhaust looks, but that's not enough for me to change it because I don't want it to be louder. I love that it's kind of stealth. It's got this beautiful intake sound to it. There's nothing I would change on this thing. Ergonomically, it fits me perfectly. The master cylinder feel is super nice, you know. The only things that I would go is I would go direct lines and change the pads, because I do that to every motorcycle that I own, because I think it just gives me that really good precision over the brakes that I find is missing on a lot of stock motorcycles. But, you know, pound for pound, man, this bike is just unbeatable, dude. And it's the type of bike, too, that I would put a little windscreen on it, put some bags on the back, and go do a big trip with it. Why not? It would absolutely do it, because it has freaking cruise control. You turn this on, set it, and look at that. You're cruising. Beautiful. So nice, man. Tilt your head a little bit, take the corner. Just a beautiful machine. Beautiful, beautiful machine. And the fact that you can pick up these 23 MT09 SPs for like 10 grand, 11 grand out the door. Oh my God, that's so much bike for the money. That's a ridiculous amount of bike for the money, man. And dealers are really trying to get rid of their 23 stock, because everybody is just like, oh my God, the 24 is out. I have to buy the 24 because it has slightly different ergonomics and a bigger screen, even though the frame and the engine are fundamentally the same. People are such silly, you know, new, consumer. It's like when the new iPhone comes out and everyone's like, I gotta get the new iPhone. It's like, no, you don't. Your phone works just fine. Keep it for another year or two and then buy something refurb for half the price. Like, it's easy to make these choices, guys. Like, you don't have to make these really silly financial choices to get the newest and greatest and latest thing, you know? I think it's a testament to this motorcycle that I've put so many miles on the clock. I think I've done over 700 or 800 miles with this thing as a giveaway bike, which is kind of a lot for me. I don't normally like to take bikes to that kind of level. I already did the first service on it, got it nice and ready to go for the next winter of this motorcycle. But, you know, the fact that I want to reach for the keys and ride this thing more than any other bike I've got in the garage right now speaks big volumes to it, you know. It puts such a smile on my face when I get on it, you know. And not all naked bikes do that. Not all these motorcycles do that. But this bike is really, really, really freaking good. It's really, really that good. And if you're considering getting one, I highly recommend it, because I really do think that there's no other bike that competes with this thing. Value for money, performance, you know, capability, that dual nature I talked about. There's no other bike that comes close to this thing right now. There genuinely isn't. So I would say, if you're in the market for an MT09 SP, you should absolutely pull the trigger. I think this bike just is the absolute business. With all that being said, boys, thanks so much for tuning into today's video. Be sure you check out the giveaway on this thing. Go to yaminoob.co, become a member, and we will catch you in the next one. See you later.
And just like that, the video ends. Much like a wave crashing onto shore, all beautiful things must come to an end. But you know what doesn't have to end is the dialogue between me and you. Head over to yaminoob.co, click the link in the description box down below. You can keep talking to me on the Discord server. I'm on there every single day, and my way of saying thank you to you is I give away these fantastic motorcycles. This is an MT09 SP. Don't miss your chance to win this thing. One of the spiciest and coolest giveaway bikes we've done yet. Hit that link down below and become a member, but while you wait, keep watching the video right over here on Yami Noob.